Head coach John Smith of Oklahoma State University in his 32nd year as head coach at his alma mater, 5-time NCAA team champion coach, 6-time world champion as a wrestler, including 2 Olympic gold medals. Oklahoma State is ranked number 7 in the country by the NWCA.
I think it kind of like there was 25 former All-Americans that are seated 9th or lower. In other words, they're not projected to place this year. Talk about what is that happening to the sport, but also when you talk about seedings, I know they're always controversial, but in the past they used to have more historical data. Should that be brought back into some seedings?
Well, I think one, six-year guys have changed the outcome of this tournament for the next 3 or 4 more years. You know, that's just a fact, right? I think everybody has them on their team, and when everybody has them on their team, I think there's how many schools that are participating this weekend. You know, so it's a good portion of the field, and so that's one reason why it's as tough as it is. Definitely. The seeding process, I mean, I think it's pretty good. I think it's hard. I think it's a challenge every year of getting things right, and I think for the most part they don't get it all right, but I think there's a big effort to try to make it right. So I don't think it's against anyone. I just think it's a real challenge with the number of matches, who didn't wrestle enough, who wrestled enough, those type of things that just kind of goes in a circle all the time.
Yeah, John's right with the 6-year. COVID obviously affected it because kids are staying longer. I think the other thing is the talent coming into college now is just, it continues to get better and better. And true freshmen, I know when we started coaching, you didn't really want to wrestle a true freshman. And now they're ready to go. These kids have wrestled at world level, and they're just at a different place than I'm not trying to put down kids from the past, but I just think they're more prepared, and that's probably due to RTCs and the clubs that are going on. And with the seeding, I got on the seeding committee, what was it, about 9 years ago when there was like all the craziness, and I said, I want to figure this out and find out what's going on behind it. And it's a very fair system, the way they do it, and the people that are in that room and the way it works. And we know ahead of time before a season that here's the criteria that you have to wrestle to. And so, I think back to when seeds used to just be to 12 and you never knew, and then you could get drawn in. And I do think it's a better system, but of course everything can get a little bit better and better, and that's part of it. You can tweak it now, and that's the coaches have to do that. We have to say, here's a different way we can do it, and we would like to tweak this.
Just echoing, Coach Smith and Coach Smith. No, the talent is unreal right now. I think that the talent that we're seeing, especially with such an emphasis on the age level world championships, even when I was coming through, and even my brother, right, when he was coming through, there wasn't these age group tournaments, right, where now there are. So you have the RTCs, but also some really, really great talent coming in early. And then with the seeding, I think that, they both hit on the head as well. It's never going to be perfect, but I'd tell you what, in my day, only having 12 seeds and then you could draw 13 right off the rip, that's really challenging. So I think seeding all the way to 33, they're doing a good job, and there might be some folks that don't love it, but I think overall the coaches are, somewhat pleased with what we got going on right now.
Coach John Smith, if you could just comment on Daton. Is going to be going against BravoYoung for the championship, maybe if they both make it out there for the 3rd time. Just what have you guys worked on in terms of maybe getting a different result this time?
Well, we've worked on several guys, not just one. I think it's a weight class that you got to be honest at. I think it's not a weight class that you better be looking too far ahead. There's enough challenges at the weight class that you need to take it one match at a time. And so, he's worked on several of them and has a pretty good idea of what he needs to do to try to be the best. And I think it's real important that he really embraces this event and just being here at home and embrace it and let it be an advantage to you, rather than be a disadvantage. So I'm more concerned with that, and I think it's really important for him to just kind of embrace everything and knowing that this is his hometown and this is where I'm going to wrestle my best at. So, but any individual right now, I mean, we'll see. I mean, we've worked on several guys, and one of them's this guy's athlete, pretty good. I don't think you overlook him, So that's kind of where Daton's at right now.
Actually, this one's for Brian Smith. You won a Big 12 title here 10 days ago or whatever it was. Just that familiarity with the building, does that help at all? And what do you see from your team coming in?
I got to the hotel room last night, and I was like, damn, I feel like I was just woke up there yesterday. So it was the same hotel, and knowing the walk, having being familiar with the whole area, it just makes it really comfortable for athletes. I think we all feel that way being from the Big 12, that we know the city. It's an awesome place to have the event. We know the hallways underneath. For our athletes, it's just one of those things that it's so small, but those little things can make a difference, that they just feel comfortable, even though it's a tough, anxiety-filled event. That's a good thing. So we're happy to be here in Tulsa. I know that.
John, this is for you. Nobody's coached in this tournament longer than you have. What keeps you going? And the fact that it isn't here in Oklahoma, does it motivate you more? I know you're getting ready to build a new facility on campus, that type of thing. What keeps you going?
Well, I just enjoy the sport, and I enjoy coaching. I think your experiences, what motivates you, whether they're good or bad. And for me, been two of the probably most challenging years I've had in the last couple of years. You'd rather have those early in your career than towards the end of your careers, but it's just kind of the way it fell, and the things that we had to kind of pick up and keep moving. And so, I don't think you have a plan to coach this long. I just think it happens. I've enjoyed Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's been good to me and been good to my family, and I think for a lot of reasons you stay with it. But that's definitely one, is that you have support from your institution, your athletic department, your athletic director, and it makes a big difference in how long you want to coach.
Jesse Boxpack Pride, just a question for you guys regarding that, not looking past your first match, one match at a time. How do you practically do that with your team? So whether it's your highest ranked guy or your lowest ranked guy, how do you get him to not look 2 or 3 matches ahead, to focus on what's right in front of him?
I think it's the entire season, honestly. So it's instilled from a young age, right? And then as you lead into college, and from the first competition of the year, it's just like, hey, we're focusing on the task at hand. You can't control what's in the future. Only you can control is who's in front of you, and a nameless, singlet, it doesn't matter. Just wrestle who's in front of you. Try to be the best version of yourself, and do that every match, because we know this tournament you can't predict, right? There's upsets all the time. So if you're getting ready for somebody, you're not even sure they're going to be there. So just focus on first opponent you have and go from there.
Question for Coach John Smith. After your session here, Chris Pendleton, Pat Popolese, you're going to be sitting here answering questions, due in large part to the success they're having. You coach both those athletes. Now they're having success, as well as many other coaches. Is it a point of pride for you to see the number of athletes you've coached go on and have success in coaching as the Division I ranks?
Yeah, it's fun to watch. You don't like to see them place ahead of you at the national tournament, I'll tell you that. And where they're doing it, some areas where, we've been concerned with, in the past. and now we see, an institution, an athletic department behind them. Those are good things to see. That's what you're proud of, right? Is that you turn the attitude in a different direction, and people want to see you win. They want to see that you're good, and for several of them, I think they've done that. They've done a good job of going in and taking control and bringing people together to support the program.
What might it say about you that you have this extensive of a coaching tree in the Division I ranks?
Well, I really encourage our guys to get out there. I encourage them to get into high school as well as college. I'm promoting it. It's a good life. I think they've seen that it's a good life. It's a good. It's even good raising a family. I mean, your family growing up and being around a college institution is not a disadvantage. It's an advantage. Gives them a lot of things that they get to see and have high expectations of what life's about. And so I think that's probably answers your question. Yeah.
Daniel Allen O'Cauley. John, Brian, this is for both of you. Obviously, combined 19 participants for both you guys. Could you just, both of you, speak on the growing parity in a conference like the Big 12 and taking into consideration with stuff like conference realignment and all the logistics in the sport now?
Well, when I first started at Missouri, I was in the Big 12. Then I had it taken away because we moved to the SEC. But I know every year I would talk with this guy, and he was like, hey, I'm really trying to make this happen. We got to make the Big 12 one of the better conferences in America. And so I owe a debt of gratitude to him for making it happen. He's probably not too happy with me the last 2 years, but it's a good thing when there's that type. And when I look at North Dakota and South Dakota and Northern Iowa and Iowa State, all the teams are rising. Everybody's on an upward movement in our conference, and just what's happening, it's making it exciting. I know we got more qualifiers out this year than last year. That the growth in the Big 12 is exciting, and I really look forward to the next couple of years to see what happens. And is there going to be a network? Is there, we're going to have duels on TV as a network and things like that are a possibility now. That it's exciting times for the Big 12, and I'm very grateful to be in it.
Yeah, and we are too. It's should have never happened. 2011, I think it was 11, right?
Somewhat 12.
Yeah, 12. I mean, it should never happen. I mean, Missouri should have stayed in the conference, but there's a couple institutions that didn't want to be in any part of it, and those institutions, both of them, didn't have a wrestling program. That's what's kind of sad about it. But anyway, we found ourselves back, and it's a good thing. I think, as Brian said, our conference is growing strong. We had 78 qualifiers here. That's quite a few. I think our first year, when you guys were out, I want to say 44. And here we are at 78, and that just tells you that what we've done and what the Big 12 has done. It's not what I've done; it's what the Big 12 has done. It's been presidents that have made good decisions and voted in favor of this, and it's been Commissioner Bowlesby who jumped behind it and really carried the ball for us and helped us move it forward. So a lot of people are responsible, and I'll just say that. Yeah, it's challenging, but in the conference meet was as good as a meet that I've ever been in, and I'm talking going back several years. So this is what we hoped, and here we are with 78 qualifiers, and quite a few of them ranked pretty high.
For more information, you can visit TulsaWorld.com.